and we are going live. All right, we are live. Hey everyone, thank you very much for joining us tonight, today, evening, morning. I think we have different. That's the good part of us, this part, right? Like we have audience all over the world, so different time zones. Himaja, it's a good thing to be in here, and I hope you all are safe and healthy wherever you are. So try to stay like that. Once again, thank you for us joining so late in the evening. Today's topic for us is identity management for SSO. Himaja is gonna take us through all that session. Before I give it to her, just quick things, usual announcements. We have a live chat going on the right side of your YouTube. Feel free to write your questions or any comments on there. At the end of the presentation, we will go through those questions and try to cover as much as we can. So feel free to write them there. With that, I wouldn't take more time, Himaja. We are already 4 minutes into it, so it's all yours. Please start over. People, please, if you cannot hear her or have any difficulty in seeing the presentation or listening to it, please tell us on the chat and we'll take care of it. Thank you very much. With that, Himaja, stream is yours.
Thank you, Manik.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. I am Himaja Sumkara. I'm a Customer Success Technical Architect at MuleSoft. Today in this session, we are going to discuss about identity management for single sign-on. So let's get started. So what is identity management? Users always wanted a simple, secure, and self-service experience when accessing their services and APIs. By default, Anypoint platform comes up with its own identity provider. So whenever a new user sign up with Anypoint platform, they are creating an Anypoint identity, which allows them to access the platform, call the APIs, and also register client applications through an API portal. In addition to its own IDP, Anypoint platform also supports customers that are already using identity management systems such as Okta, Salesforce, etc. In such cases, customers can either use an Anypoint identity or delegate the authentication to external identity providers to sign users into Anypoint platform. And this could be done using um, one of the SAML or OpenID Connect single sign-on standards. So these are the two standards that we support currently. Today, we are going to concentrate on how to set up SAML-based identity management system using Okta. These are the high-level steps that are involved to set up an identity management for SSO. The first step is to identify the identity provider. So we shall see what all identity providers are supported by OpenID Connect and also SAML in our next slide. But first of all, it is important to select the right identity provider for your organization. And the next step is to set up your Anypoint platform organization as your audience and your identity provider configuration. This could be done by using a pre-canned MuleSoft application, which we will be seeing in our demo. Next, we need to configure identity management in the Anypoint platform master organization using the attributes that we get from identity provider. And also we need to configure attribute names on the IDP and Anypoint platform to match. If these attribute values doesn't match, then we won't be able to successfully set up identity management. Here in the slide, you could find all the supported SAML and OpenID Connect providers. Salesforce, Ping Federate, OpenAM, and Okta are fully supported and tested by MuleSoft for their compatibility. There are other providers also like AD, OneLogin, CA single sign-on, etc., which are used by some of our customers and are known to work, but are not actively tested. So coming to the OpenID Connect, Salesforce, Ping Federate, OpenAM, and Okta are fully supported and are actively tested by MuleSoft. Here in this in this slide, you could see the steps that are involved for an user to access the resource or request an access to the resources from any one platform. So the first step is that user browser attempts to access the resource from the platform, and the platform redirects to IDP, where the browser sends an authentication request to the IDP, and IDP authenticates the user based on the roles and the permissions that we give, and sends an assertion token, SAML token, to the user. And this SAML token will be handled by browser and send this as a SAML authentication response to the Anypoint platform. And Anypoint platform responds with resource that is initially requested by the user. So these are the high-level steps that are involved for an user to get access to the resources from the Anypoint platform. So next we will log into the Anypoint platform and see what all attributes are needed in order to successfully develop an identity management system using Okta. So as you can see here in this slide, we need to log into access management first and click on the external identity and configure all these attributes in order to successfully implement this. So these are all different attributes that we have. We need to configure the single sign on and sign off URLs, and the issuer, public key, and audience information, which we will be getting from the IDP. And all this information should match exactly what to the IDP attributes. Otherwise, we won't be able to have a successful connection between the Okta and the Anypoint platform. So without further ado, let's get started with the demo part. So I've already logged into my Anypoint platform. So once you log into the Anypoint platform from the So these are my credentials. I'm logging into Anypoint platform. Click on the main menu on the extreme left side and select Access Management. And select Identity Providers on the left side. So before going further, in this demo, I'm going to talk about how to set up external identity provider for authentication and authorization in Anypoint platform. And as we have discussed earlier, there are two SSO standards that are supported. One is OpenID Connect that you could see here, and the other one is SAML. OpenID Connect does not support role propagation. Only SAML supports it. Today, we are going to see how to set up a SAML-based Okta integration for identity management. First, we have logged into Anypoint platform and we have navigated to access management, and also we have navigated into identity providers. Now, the first step that you have to do is select one of the identity providers. So you can enable the external provider and you can select in OpenID Connect or SAML. We have selected SAML now. So if you click on the edit, you can actually see this page where you could where you can see all the attributes that you need to configure in order to maintain a connection between the Okta and Anypoint platform. So in this case, Okta provides let me log into Okta. So these are the different attributes. These attributes are the name value pairs that you get from Okta administration page for a specific application. So let us first go into Okta, log into Okta, and select an application and get all these values from there. So I have already logged into Okta. This is my Okta. I'm right now not in the developer console, but in the classic UI, which means I'm admin right now. So once you go into the Okta, in this case, Okta actually provides a pre-canned application which helps us to send the SAML token to the browser address requesting for access and establish a connectivity to the Anypoint platform. So click on the applications here, and you could see this page. In the search bar, type MuleSoft, and you can see the application. So in the backend, what this application does is it establishes a connectivity to the Anypoint platform by sending the SAML token. So just select the MuleSoft Anypoint platform and add it. Once you select the Anypoint platform, just click on the MuleSoft Anypoint platform, and you could see the following tabs: General Sign-On, Mobile Import Assignments. So this is your general page. You need not make any changes here. The application label is already there. So the next important part that you have to do is to assign roles, create roles, and assign users to the particular roles, right? That you could do by going into the directory and click on groups. And I've already added MuleSoft Developer, MuleSoft Exchange Viewer groups here. If you want to add any new group, then give the new group as MuleSoft _ Exchange contributor. Contributes assets to the exchange. And click on add group. This will add the group, and you could go ahead and assign users to this group. If you see here, I have prefixed the developer, exchange contributor, and viewer with MuleSoft. So this could be anything. The name could be anything. You can put anything. You can even put your org name and add the role name. That's up to you. And we shall see why I have added MuleSoft everywhere here for all the roles. So this is, and if you want to add any people or invite new users, so go into the directory and click on people. And from here, you can click on add person, and you can invite any new users. I've already invited a couple of users using a couple of my emails. So we already have users here. So now what we have done so far is we have selected the MuleSoft application, which establishes a connectivity to MuleSoft Anypoint platform from Okta. And also we have created a role and assigned users to this role. Now let's get back to the applications where we will get now the next step would be to get the attribute names from the SSO and add those attribute names to the Anypoint platform external provider. So for that, in order to do that, select applications and click on applications and select the application name and click on single sign-on. So this is the page that you see when you click on sign on. So here you can see that the groups I have already added. So you can add any of these conditions. I have taken starts with MuleSoft because I have prefixed all of my role names with MuleSoft. So I have added this. You could add anything. You can add regex, or you can add contains and give any of the string that is there as part of your group name. So I've added MuleSoft. And the next part is how to set up the attributes. How do you get the attributes from identity provider in order to fill in the Anypoint platform? So if you just scroll down, you can see view setup instructions. Just click on that view setup instructions, and you could actually see a step-by-step clear documentation that is provided by Okta especially for your for your user. So this is my user. So you just have to follow these steps, copy the sign on URL, sign off URL, and add it into the Anypoint platform. So that's what I have done. I've simply opened the setup instructions, and I have added the sign on URL, sign off URL, and the issuer audience and all this information. from the setup document. So it provides a clear documentation as in like what information that needs to be added to Anypoint platform. So this makes our job much more easier. And one other important thing that we have to discuss in Anypoint platform is we have now defined the roles and we have assigned the users to that particular roles in Okta. But that doesn't mean a role will automatically gets created in Anypoint platform. We need to explicitly create a custom role and assign the user in the Anypoint platform as well. So in order to do that, so go to your access management again and go to the users roles. And here I have added the MuleSoft underscore developer role, which I have added, which is one of my groups in the Okta. So make sure that the syntax is like the naming convention is similar from there. And if you select on this MuleSoft developer, you could actually see edit external group mapping. So click on that and give the name exactly the exact group name that you have configured in Okta here, and click on add. Now I've already I've created a custom role, assigned my group name here to this custom role, right? And I have given the permission for this user to my dev environment under runtime manager. Now, so as we have given this and also configured this, the identity provider information here. Now we should be able to go and click and see if our user is given the right permissions, or a user is able to access the right environments in the Anypoint platform or not. And before that, there is one important checkbox that is available here: enable new non-SSO users. So if you don't want any new non-SSO users to log into Anypoint platform, and you only want your identity provider to your single centralized place to manage all your user management or authorization or authentication system, then you have to um, uncheck this text box so that you don't see the invite user option here in the access management. So if you go here, so now it is enable non new non SSO users. Now uncheck this checkbox and click on save. Now go to the users. Let's sign out. So we made some change. So let's sign out and sign in back again. So if you see here, you don't see the invite users option anymore. So you won't be able to invite any new users if you uncheck that checkbox. So whatever users that you want to invite to your platform, you have to do it from your identity provider only. So, but if you still want to invite users from any one platform, then you need to go ahead and check that box in the identity providers. Now, let us quickly sign out of this access management page. And also sign out of the Okta as an admin. Now I'm signing back again, Okta, and click on the application. Our application is MuleSoft Anypoint platform. This should redirect us to Anypoint platform, which it did. And if you click on the main menu, select Runtime Manager. I have access to dev. So let's see if I have any other access within Runtime Manager. No, I do not have any other access to any other environments in the runtime manager. Let's go to the API manager and see if we have any permissions there. So it says, please contact your organization administrator to get permissions for API manager environments. So we cannot see anything here because we have only given the user the permission to deploy or read or write applications in the runtime manager for the dev environment. So this is how we set up SSO using external identity provider. In this case, we have used Okta based on SAML assertions. And there are two other important fields that you come across while configuring this. One is the SSO JIT, and the other one is SLO. So often we see many user sessions being left out like that without actually closing them. So that is where this SLO is useful. So all these open sessions leave the door open for different attacks like cross-site request forgery attack or session hijacking attacks, etc. So this additional SLO protocol helps address the problem of orphaned logins. It allows the user to terminate all server sessions established via SAML SSO by initiating the logout process once. So this is only available with SAML. So that is the reason I want to discuss this. So this SLO could be initiated from your identity provider that you will come across while configuring these values in the identity provider. And the other important, one of the other important features of this SAML is just-in-time provisioning. So it allows users the SAML protocol, and it refers to a method of application account creation. So what it does is, so whenever a new user logs into the platform or logs into the IDP, right? As long as they have permissions for those applications, it will automatically grant access to all the users in that particular area. So for example, say a Salesforce is trying to you're trying to grant Salesforce access to all the users in the sales department, right? And those user accounts are created the first time they try to log into Salesforce through their SSO portal. Or by a service provider initiated login. So in this case, what it does is the first time the user logs in, it will automatically create an account for that user. So you don't have to create an account. So that option is also provided in the SSO. While you're configuring, I'll show you where. So select the application. As we have already set up, I cannot see that anymore. Let's see where we can find it in the documentation. Yeah, so this is supported features. One is IDP initiated SSO. This is something which we have seen, and the other one is JIT provisioning. So as we have already set up the IDP initiated SSO, we cannot see that, but yeah, this is also another option which you get while you try to configure IDP initiated SSO. So don't get confused with it. You just have to select the IDP initiated SSO and do the steps and follow the steps in this document. So this is how you set up the SSO for identity management using Okta based on SAML standards. Now, I would quickly want to show you some quiz, right, which talks about all the limitations. So rather than going through the slides, let's quickly go into this quiz, right? And the first answer that I get from the participants, I would take that answer. So, Manik, will you be able to help me to uh, give me the first answer so that we'll see if it is correct like or what is the correct answer? Would you be able to do that?
Sure, sure.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So, so there will be four options: A, B, C, D, or A, B. So please type in your answers whether it's A, B, C, D. So, and then we will discuss more about these limitations for SSO. So, what is this quiz? I have created this quiz to quickly go through some of the key features and limitations of identity management. So the first question is, the following SAML providers are fully supported: Salesforce, Ping Federate, OpenAM, and Okta, all of the above.
Okay, the first answer is from Deepak. He says D. D.
D. Perfect.
Okay, most of
The
people
next
are
one is,
saying D, so that was right. Yeah.
oh, that's good. So external identity configuration is available only at the organization level. You cannot configure an external identity provider for a business group.
Hold on. I think there are so many letters now, so I don't know. People are still answering for the previous one or the new one, but
Okay.
it says B. Mostly I'm saying B. False.
Oops. Sorry.
Okay. Wait 1
So
second. Before you start, let me just write some delimiter on the chat so I know any answer after this for new
sure,
questions.
sure.
Okay. New question.
Okay. So yeah. So I heard that people have sent answer as B. So you can only configure one external identity provider, that at master level. So you can only have one external identity provider, and you cannot um, define or configure an external identity provider at business group level. So the answer is true. Okay. So the next question is, OpenID Connect does not support single logout or and role mapping.
Okay. Let's see. Reading. Question 3 answer is B. The first one from the first answer.
Question 3 answer is B. Okay, the first answer.
The first answer
Sorry.
cannot be.
Yeah. So OpenID Connect does not support single logout and role mapping. We have seen what single logout is earlier, right? So it if you check the single logout option, so what it does is it closes all the open sessions, and it doesn't allow any scripting attacks or anything on our open session. So that is what single logout does, and role mapping is something which we have seen earlier. OpenID Connect does not support role mapping, and SAML supports role mapping. So we have seen earlier how we have created roles and also created roles in Anypoint platform, and we tried to map these roles from IDP to Anypoint platform. So SAML only supports single logout and role mapping, but not OpenID Connect. So the answer is true. Can a user belong to only one role on Anypoint platform?
Let's see. Okay. Yusuf says it's B. False.
That's correct. So user can belong to multiple roles on Anypoint platform or multiple groups. So even if you create a single group in your Okta IDP, you can assign multiple users, like one user to multiple groups, and same like just like how we give multiple permissions to one single role in Anypoint platform.
Awesome.
Answer is correct. Thank you. Thank you, Yusuf. The following providers are fully supported to work with OpenID Connect.
Okay. Okay, 5. Nazir says it's D, all of the above.
That's correct, Nazir. Thank you. So we fully support Okta, Salesforce, Ping Federate, and OpenAM with OpenID Connect. If a SAML user belongs to certain groups, Anypoint platform does not automatically grant equivalent roles in the organization.
Okay. There is, okay, so I am assuming the first D was for the previous one, but probably Yusuf starts with A as false.
Oops, sorry. So if a SAML user belongs to certain groups, Anypoint platform does not automatically grant equivalent roles in the organization. This is something which we have discussed earlier. So even after creating the groups in the Okta, we went ahead and we had to create a custom role in Anypoint platform. Right. So, and also we have tried to map the group that we have created in Okta with the role that we have created, custom role that we have created in Anypoint platform. So it doesn't automatically create a role. You have to explicitly go there and manually do it and map these two roles. After configuring identity management, disable non-SSO
Hey,
users.
Imaja, sorry. So for 6, it was A or B?
It's true.
Okay, it's true.
B.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
After configuring identity management, disable non-SSO users. You can't add new users to your organization in any one platform, and invite users option is disabled.
Okay, for that, Omar says B, just B, and Sridhar says 7B. So one of them answered first. If the first one is also for 7, I asked them to prefix the question number so I know which question they are answering.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
great.
B.
Thank you. Okay. So thank you for the answer. So yes, the answer is correct. It's B. So we have seen that earlier. After configuring the identity management, after unchecking the box and the identity while editing the SAML standard, you we went ahead and saw that the invite user option is disabled in the Anypoint platform. So in that case, the only way that you could add users and add permissions and everything is through identity provider. The answer is B. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we are done with the quiz. These are some of the features or the limitations that we have for SSO. So so
That
I
was a
think
good quiz.
I'm done. So I'm open to questions now.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Himaja. That was a good quiz. Interesting. Let me scan through now. Since people answered so many questions there, the chat has just expanded. Let me scroll to the. Oh man, this never happened before. Because now the chat grew so big, I think it's not showing me the initial questions.
So can we
Okay,
can we
I'll just ask them to ask the questions again, guys. Since we answered so many things on chat, probably chat is not showing me the previous ones, what the questions that you asked earlier. If you still have question, please write them again on the chat and we will go over it. Krishna, yes, the recording will be available as soon as this session is done. The recording will be available on the same YouTube channel. We will update the link on the meetup page also, so you can always go there. uh, okay, Sridhar says we were just talking about SSO. How about OAuth? Did we talk about that?
So yeah, so OpenID Connect uses OAuth to authenticate the users. So we have only talked about a SAML today, but not on the OpenID Connect. And OpenID Connect, through OpenID Connect, you can authorize or authentication the users based on OAuth.
Okay, thanks. Can we configure multiple IPs?
No, you cannot configure multiple identity providers. You can configure multiple client management providers. So this is something which we have recently released. But coming to the identity providers, no, you can have only one single identity provider.
Okay, just one. The next question, I don't know if this is for this, but could you give us some estimate on cost on Okta versus Salesforce? I'm not sure if
Please reach
it's,
out to your
yeah,
account executive or your sales rep or your customer success manager. They should be able to provide you this information.
okay, that's good. So is there any recommendation or suggestion for when to go to SAML or when to go for OpenID?
It's totally up to you. So as we have seen earlier, the role mapping and the SLO, so that you don't have these features available for OpenID. So if you think they are like very useful for you, then you can go ahead and do it with SAML. But usually, what customers does is they already have identity providers through which they are authorizing for their other systems. So if you have anything like that, you can just go ahead and use the same.
Okay, okay, thanks. Uh, the next one is like we have seen the configuration part in the demo, right? But can you show how it works end to end?
So, okay, all right. So, um, let me share my screen again. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Manik? Okay,
Yes.
great. So, yeah, right. So let me quickly log into the Anypoint platform. Okay. Um, go to the access management. Right. Click on the identity providers. Edit it, right? This would be, so after you configure, this would be your sign-on URL, right, for your IDP. So let's take this URL. Let's sign out of all the Okta, Anypoint platform, etc. So this is the page that you get, right? So this is what we have copied from the platform as well. This would be your sign-on URL. Just click on that and give the username and password. So click on the sign in. Right. So this is the application that we have configured. This is a pre-canned application which I've shown you earlier. You just have to click on this application, and that application will help us to establish a connectivity with Anypoint platform. And now the IDP did redirect us to the Anypoint platform. So if you go back to the slides, so this is what we have seen. We have tried to log in, then it redirects to IDP, and browser sends an authentication request to IDP, and IDP sends an assertion. So this is something which happens in the background. What all that you could see here is you try to log into Okta, which is your identity provider, and it redirects to the Anypoint platform as the user, as you are a user with the right privileges, right? In the Okta, it helped you to redirect to Anypoint platform, and you just have to go ahead and for this user, for this himajot.sunkar@gmail.com, we have given the permissions to read applications or deploy applications in the development environment under runtime manager. So that is something which we have done in Okta. So just click on the runtime manager. Now you will be able to see only the dev environment, and no other environment is seen, right? Nor you have permissions to any other features like API manager, right? So this is all controlled by Okta. So this is what we have done in today's session.
Right. And I think that is what is end to end of all this configuration.
Right. Yeah.
I was hearing my own echo. Okay. So if we have to configure Salesforce instead of Okta, what would be the difference? How do we configure in Salesforce instead of Okta? Do we have any
So you
trick?
Sure. Please, I can send you a document on how to configure with Salesforce. There will be small differences like with the configuration, etc. So, so you can reach me out on himaja.sankara@mulesoft.com, and I can send you the required documentation to use Salesforce as your IDP.
Awesome. Thank you. How to configure JWT token with Okta provider? Hmm?
Uh, I'm sorry. So please send me an email. I can give you more information.
Okay. So that one, and then the next one. How are roles created in Okta and in MuleSoft Anypoint platform are related? What is the need to create roles in Okta?
So that is the whole point of identity provider. Now that would be your centralized identity management provider. So that from there you go ahead and manage all your users and the permissions and everything. So that's the whole point of having an identity provider rather than going into any point platform and creating roles, users, permissions there. Right. So that is the reason we went ahead earlier and we have created user groups, right?
Mhm.
That is, and also we have mapped the user groups from Okta to the roles that we have created in any one platform.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Is Okta license included with MuleSoft?
So, external identity provider, I think you should be able to do it with Platinum and Titanium subscription. I'm not sure about the basic subscription. I can get back to you on that.
Okay. Thanks. Hey, quick thing. You mentioned to reach out to you on email,
Yeah.
and I think some of them did not got the email. Is it okay if I put that on
Okay.
chat, or how do you
Please,
want to?
please.
If you want to put, if you want me to put any slides or links later in the description, I can also do that if you don't want to do it. But
Okay.
otherwise, oh,
So
it's on
yeah.
the slides too. So that's good. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I have already put this on the first slide. So this is my email ID. Please reach out to me for any other questions. And I have also added some of the helpful links for external identity. So please go ahead and check out these links once we are done with the session.
Thank you. While we are on the slides, would you be able to send me the slides? I can share, put the slides links also there if you want to share that.
Sure, I will do that. Do you want me to do it now or
Not now, after, like later you
okay,
can
sure.
do that and I'll update the descriptions. That's okay. Thank you.
Sure, I can do that. Yes.
Let's see. The next one we have in our organization, we are using Azure AD provider for user authentication. Can we use Azure AD to identity provider SSO setup?
I think you should be able to, but again, you have to check for you have to configure it and test it, thoroughly test it, because as I've said earlier, so these are the um, Salesforce, Ping Federate, OpenAM, or Okta are the providers which are like extensively tested by MuleSoft. That doesn't mean it doesn't support the other providers. It supports, but again, please test it thoroughly.
Okay, thanks. Um, Next is in SAML doc, I see begin certificate and end certificate. Is it that the load balancer mapping certificate?
So just a second. So you get the certification information here. So this is the public key that is sent along with the request. So this is something which you could get from the setup instructions. So you just have to copy this and paste it in the Anyone platform.
Okay, let's see. And I see Ishupal is also helping us answering some questions. So thank you, Ishupal. Does AWS Cognito supports SAML? I think question would be, can we use AWS Cognito also as a provider?
Yeah. So can you please come up with
The
come again with the name of the provider?
AWS Cognito, Amazon Web Services, Cognito.
Okay, I'll have to look into it. I'm not sure, but I can get back to you. Please send your question to me on my
Yeah.
email.
Okay. Can we use Okta for API authentication as well if we configure that?
Okta could be used as a client management provider as well. So that's a different topic. Today we have discussed about identity management. This
Right.
is only about authorizing the users.
Okay. That's nice. Yeah, I think I have seen that some other place for client management.
Yes.
So when user attempts to log in into Anypoint with their user ID registered with Okta, will it go validate in Okta and come back to Anypoint page?
Can you please come again with the question?
So Sridhar is probably clarifying. So when user attempts to log in into Anypoint with their user ID, which is registered on Okta, will it go to validate in Okta and then come back to Anypoint page? It's like
Yes,
an
that's
overload.
correct. So yes, this is IDP initiated. So it will go to Okta first and then go to the Anypoint platform and redirect to the Anypoint platform.
Okay. It's like an Okta dance, similar to that, maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but this is a discussion also, so I'm scanning through it and just picking up the questions from there. Can we
Okay.
create free account in Okta for this POC?
Yes. So the account which I have created is a free trial account. So you can go ahead and create one.
Okay, I think that was the it, because after that I see how can we download these slides and previous sessions. That's mostly for me. So all the sessions that we had so far on online meetup, you can always go to VirtualMuleys channel and go into videos. You will see all previous sessions, and as soon as we end this session, you will see this session also in there. Email, you already showed it there. I think that's pretty much of it. And some of the questions are already answered by Shupal, so of them, they have the answers there.
Sure.
Okay, with
And
that, I
I
think.
already started getting
Mhm.
emails. Thank you for that. I'll reach out as soon as I can.
Awesome, thank you. Is there anything else you want to share before we go? Because I don't see any questions coming up on there, so we can get done.
Yeah, I think I'm good with the presentation, but yeah, I like the question about client management. So please also go through the client management. I see people get confused between this identity management and client management. So they are like two different topics. So you have a great Mule Docs page on both these client management and also identity management, and also some of the examples are also mentioned in the Mule Docs. So please go through it. I will also share the documents if you particularly need any setup instructions.
Okay. Hey, sorry, there are last minute entries for questions.
Okay.
Do you want to go over? Yeah. The first one is, could we use Oracle Identity Management as IDP?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. It's not in the list that I referred in the Mule Docs, but I can get back to you on that.
Okay. Uh, the next one is, are the changes synchronous between Okta and Mule? So if I add a new ID to my role in Okta, will it be
Mhm.
automatically synced to MuleSoft? Like how that gets reflected probably.
So, as I have shown you earlier, you need to log into Anypoint platform, and in the roles, try to create a custom role with the same role that you have created or same group that you have created in Okta, and Let me quickly share my screen. I think we still have like 8 minutes of time. Let me show you.
I think we were still seeing your screen.
Oh, okay.
Eh, I was on chat, so I did. Sorry.
So if you go into the Anypoint platform, I'm sorry. So this I've logged in as a developer from the Okta, so I don't get to see the access management page. Let me log in from my browser. So I do see access management page. As I'm org admin, I can do both. So I've logged into access management. Right, under rules, I have created one custom role, right, MuleSoft developer. And this is something which I have named as one of my groups in Okta as well. So let me log into Okta as an admin so that I can see all the configuration details. So let me go into the applications. Back again, select the MuleSoft Anypoint platform applications and click on, sorry, directory. So directory is where we add the groups. So these are the groups that I've added before having this custom role defined in Anypoint platform. So if you see, I have added MuleSoft developer. I have added exactly the same role in Anypoint platform. And if you click on that role, you will be able to see edit external group mapping. So this is the option that you get to see, right? And click on that and give the group name, external group names. So give the group name that you have created an Okta here and click on OK. So here what it does is, see, if you see here, you and also the next thing that you have to do is give the permissions to the environments here, like dev, what all permissions that you need, right? And what it does is IDP will try to connect with Anypoint platform, and it'll check for like what all roles that are given or what all permissions that are given to that this particular role, and will only be able to give you access to that particular runtime manager dev environment, and it does it on its own. It redirects to Anypoint platform only with access to dev environment. So you Anypoint management, like Anypoint platform, is not doing nothing over here. It's just that IDP is initiating and giving you access to only this particular environment. So you have to create the rules at both places and give permissions in the Anypoint platform.
Okay. Thank you. So last one probably is there. Previously, we were able to see a tab called external IDs. Is that
Mhm.
removed? And
So go into your access management and you can see the identity providers tab here. I'm not sure
yeah,
if you're referring to this tab.
I'm not really sure external IDs which one he points, but maybe yes.
Yeah, so this is where you could actually go ahead and create your configure the identity provider.
Okay. Let me see. So thanks. The new user is done. Maybe okay. One last. Maybe it is not relevant, but is there anyhow MuleSoft itself has capability to generate access token? Hold on. Let me try to understand. To generate access token base on client credentials without having any third party call.
Access to.
Not really.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that question,
Even
but
I'm not following
yeah.
it.
So if you do not want to have an IDP or do not have it, so what you could do is you could go into the access management, click on users, invite the users, and go to roles and give them what all roles are relevant for them, right? And you can also give permissions to like, say for example, this one you can give to permissions like to API manager. Click on design, give that all the permissions, and click OK. So the Anypoint platform itself can do this,
Yeah.
give the permissions to your users. So this is one way of doing it. I'm not sure if you're referring to this or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Probably it was around the access token or different stuff. Anyways,
Okay.
I think that was the last one. We covered almost all questions. If any of the question is not answered, like Imaja said, please send her email with the questions, and she would help wherever she can.
Yes.
With that, thank you very much, Himaja. It was an amazing session. We covered and learned a lot of things about identity management there. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
thanks. And for our audience, um, thank you for joining us. After this event, you might receive an email for giving us the feedback. So please take some time to tell us how are we doing. If anything else you want to see in the future sessions, what was good, what was bad, and all that. So thank you very much. Until next Wednesday, stay safe. Thank you. Bye.